What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this client interview. I got my man Jack on the line. Now, Jack has been in the program for about 2 months now. He's just going to go over his experience inside the Close the Gap protocol. So, Jack, man, I'm not going to steal your thunder. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself real quick to the audience?
So I'm Jack Zadar. I'm a second baseman from Dakota Ridge High School. I'm a sophomore right now, and yeah, nothing else more than that. I'm excited to get to it.
Let's go. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you for hopping on. It's going to be a great conversation that we're going to cook up here. So, I want to go back in time, maybe the moments right before you joined the program and kind of where you were at in your individual journey. So take me back to that moment, right? What was your training actually looking like at that time? And how did that training make you feel as a player within your development?
So before I joined, I just kind of did a lot and whatever I thought needed to get done, which worked for the most part, but I wasn't seeing results that I thought that I should be seeing. I mean, I'd work as hard as I could, and I'd just end up getting tired.
Sure.
It was more work to just get tired instead of work to get better. And once I joined the program, the results that I actually wanted to see from doing that work before actually came out. Like I actually saw results. I got better, like visibly better too. I'm more confident now in my baseball abilities.
Awesome, man. That's amazing to hear. And honestly, Jack, I might have said this line on our initial call. I'm not sure exactly if I did, but this is a common line or a common phrase that I tell my players. Like everyone's heard of work smarter, not harder, right? Like that's a pretty common term. But I like actually turning that into like sort of an analogy where I like
Yeah.
to say, hey, Jack, man, if you have a chemistry test tomorrow, and I said, you can either study a chemistry book for 2 hours for that test, or you can study a history book for 10 hours. Which one are you going to choose? Right? And the logical decision there is, hey, I'm going to study the chemistry book because that's more so like the test than the history book, even though I'm studying for 10 hours in the history book compared to two. All that to say, hard work doesn't mean you're going to get results and pass the test, right? We have an 8 hour gap between the two, but one is actually doing the correct things and one isn't. So I love that you mentioned that because you were working extremely hard and you still do, but now it's a little more refined. We're making sure you're doing the right things and we're seeing the results from that and the hard work you put in the past. So I think that's awesome, man. And we're seeing that happen in real time. And like I said, he's only been in the program for 2 months, so we're just going to keep seeing those gains. Yeah, so you came in the program at 75 EV. What was going through your head at that time, knowing where you actually wanted to be within that metric?
I was better in terms of where I started, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. I mean, I wanted to hit 80. 80 was the goal that day, and to fall short by 5 miles an hour just was not what I wanted. I mean, I was there with most of the guys in my class. I was the third third best EV for guys in my class, but I wanted the number one spot, and that just didn't happen that day.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Absolutely. And from that point, you joined the program. We hopped on a couple calls. We got you inside and we got you on the programming, right? So at that point, kind of what made you realize this program was different from maybe any of the training or development that you've tried in the past?
so the 24/7 being able to talk to you was huge. Some of my coaches get a little not like angry, but a little fed up with me asking questions all the time, and just to have somebody that I can reach out with, like, should we change this in my training? What if I do this, change this? And having that, especially with the school website, with the mental stuff and the swing stuff, like I'm able to upload my swing whenever I want and get it back very soon. And just being able to have constant help with what I needed was huge.
Absolutely, man. And I think that's a little bit of a testament to how coaching is changing in the modern times a little bit. Like, I don't know, 10 to 15 years ago, that really wasn't the norm at all. And it was that kind of one-on-one lesson trap where your communication was actually limited by a proximity. So you had to actually be in proximity with your coach physically. And typically, man, that would look like once a week. I mean, most guys probably wouldn't go to their one-on-one hitting coach more than once a week. And you got to wait that whole time to talk about something that's happening in the game, your swing, your training, if they even did that, right? So the 24/7 text communication is not only awesome for you guys, but it's also awesome for me as a coach to be able to make those changes on a daily basis to your programming that needs to happen and move the needle in the right direction. I don't have to wait 6 days either. So I agree, man. I think the 24/7 communication is almost what I would call a standard at this point in 2026 with training, to be completely honest. So why don't you walk me through kind of what that structure actually looked like for you once we got started, and mainly what kind of changed day to day from what you were doing before joining the program?
Yeah, so before I joined the program, it was just a lot of different kind of random stuff. And then when I got in the program, I actually had drills, lifts. I struggled with the lifts. I just did stuff that either I wanted to hit or just stuff that I wanted to get stronger on, even if it was lifting that same muscle twice in one day, which wasn't the best thing to do. But I actually had structure in what I was doing. And I did a little bit less and smarter work, and I actually gained weight. Before I joined the program, it was just a lot of hard work, not necessarily in the right direction. It was just whatever I thought that I should do that day, want to do that day. The lifts were not in the greatest spot. And then once I joined the program, I actually had structure in what I was doing. I had structured lifts, hitting practices. Again, I was able to upload my swing a lot, and just being able to have that kind of connection and structure in the programs where I actually saw results. I actually started putting on weight for the first time in months. I put on exit velo for the first time in a long time, and my swing looks a lot better. Just the results came with that structure that came with the program.
Absolutely, man. And I want to bring this to light as well. Obviously, when you join a program like this, like your inputs are going to directly correlate to your outputs. So guys like Jack, who put in their absolute 110%, are going to get the 110% results, right? And like, dude, I don't even think you've missed a single group call. You take notes during all the calls and you give me your 110% with your communication. Like, where does that come from? And why do you take this so seriously?
The biggest goal in my life is to play Division 1 baseball. That is the hands down biggest goal in my life, because it's probably the most outlandish thing that I could think of, from starting late in seventh grade, being a not very good right fielder, batting super low. It was because I had no no real, like, not support, but no advantages on other players. And I just wanted to do something with my life that was hard and something that people, admire. The first time that I went to a college baseball game was the College World Series in Omaha. And I saw my dream school there playing. I got the signed baseballs from that, and that's what I want to do. And then starting to work really, really hard on that goal and not having the resources that I needed to do that for so long, just it was difficult to get better. I'd show up to practices early and just kind of throw a ball against defense, not really doing much there. But now that I actually have access to these resources, I'm able to take all that effort that I want to put in normally and do put in normally, and I'm able to actually facilitate that. Get the job done with the resources that I need. And it's been shown in the program. I mean, I was stuck at 75 miles an hour exit velo. I was stuck at 130 pounds. Now, I'm not a lot heavier. I'm 145, but my exit velo went up to 85, 84 miles an hour almost. But being able to have the resources that I want and need, even if I don't know that I need them, I'm able to actually like access that and then get better through having that. So the effort part just, I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but it's just something that I've had, you know?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I mean, from a coach, like that's the kind of player you want inside your program, the guy who's bought in, he's giving you 110. Obviously, Jack, I have a lot of respect for that. I have a lot of respect for you for making that something such a forefront of your mind when you do a program like this. And I love that story about going to Omaha and seeing your dream team because something we talk about on group calls all the time is that future identity, right? And how we embody that version of ourselves in the now. So I think, man, you even subconsciously even did that a little bit when you saw that ideal self in the future and you said, hey, I want to be that 10.0 version of myself who is on that roster. So I love that, man.
Yeah. For the first 3 weeks in the program, I actually had that structure that I had been wanting with a group of people that wanted to get better themselves and for me to get better consistently. And having that resource, and I mean, I didn't send in a lot of swings. I didn't communicate as well as I should because I didn't know that that was the norm. But once I kind of got past that barrier, I started talking to Coach Ross, our mental coach. Things started improving a lot, especially with the mental part of the game, because I knew that I was a good player. I knew that I had more in the tank than I was showing. And being able to kind of break down that mental barrier with Coach Ross, you, even in the first 3 weeks, that got tremendously better. And even getting past that little hiccup the first 3 weeks of just not seeing a lot of progress just because it's not, I mean, you don't go to the gym once and get super big. It takes time to do things. So being actually able to be in that group with that first month, um, I mean, it was huge. I actually had everything that I needed, you know?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's awesome that that mental side was such a benefactor even in the beginning of the program because quite frankly, Jack, like a lot of players your age don't even think of the mental game or it's some sort of floating intangible part of the game that they think they're just stuck with wherever they're at. So I love that you brought that up and I love that that helped you so much at the beginning because like you just said, the physical does take time. And that mental game can kind of get a head start a little bit at the beginning of the program. So I love that, man. And as you mentioned, you just hit 84 EV. 2 months ago, almost to the date, you were at 75. So I remember when you texted me, it's pretty exciting, right? What did that moment feel like when you saw that number on that radar?
I didn't think that I could do it. Like the first couple of swings there, I was warming up. I felt okay. I kind of was in like some soreness, a little bit of pain, and I got 77. I was like, okay, that was a good PR. I mean, it was +2 for a little bit, but I think I can hit 80. Then I hit 81. I was super happy, and then I just decided to take like a couple more swings, and it was one swing that just clicked, and I hit 84. And seeing that success, I mean, I was really happy. It wasn't perfect, it's not 110 exit velocity, but going from being just a not very good hitter at all to kind of breaking that cycle in my life, um, just with baseball. I, before this season, I would maybe get 3 hits a season. I just was not a very good hitter. And then actually seeing that I got better it was insane. Like I was really happy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I find it interesting you said you didn't think it was possible. What do you think the guy who started at 75 EV or the version of Jack who didn't join the program, what do you think he'd say if he saw where you're at right now with that +9?
He would have joined earlier. I
Yeah.
mean, that would have been really exciting. And it's a difference between thinking and believing. Like, I didn't think that I could do it, but I mean, I knew that there was more that I could do. I mean, that's always been kind of a thing that I knew that I could do more, even if I thought other. It's hard to explain, but for people who are kind of into the mental side of sports as a whole, they get that more. But I mean, having that success happen, and especially if a younger version of me saw that, I mean, it would have been awesome. I mean, it was a very important moment then, and then that just showed that I can pack on even more than that, especially in the first 2 months of a program.
Yeah,
Not even, I don't think.
for sure, dude. I think when you joined, you're pretty much all about it, man. You're 100% pretty much through and through. What there are players out there, there are athletes who kind of sit on the fence about committing to a program, maybe specifically even mine as well, the Close the Gap protocol. So, what would you say to that player who's on the fence about committing to a program like this?
So I spent 2, 3 weeks of just every day looking for a program to get in. Where I'm at, there's not a lot of programs, and actually, I was looking for an in-person program, but none of them had that 24/7 contact. They didn't evaluate my swing. They would have just told me what I was doing right and wrong, which is what was happening for the past 3 years. And I was getting better with that. I mean, that is a strategy that works, but being able to have not even like a second set of eyes, just being able to have more more of that feedback just to change things, to tweak things, just to kind of fix whatever needed to be fixed, change something, add a personality to my swing too, not just kind of a robot swing there. I mean, it was it was great joining the program. Like I was excited about it, a little nervous, a little excited because I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never actually joined a program, and being able to have that contact all the time, tracking calories, protein, my swing, my mental game. I mean, it just checked so many boxes, you know.
Yeah, dude. The holistic, the holistic approach is so much better. It's almost like, dude, if you're going to a one-on-one hitting guy for once a week, you're not touching anything else in your development. Nothing else is getting worked on. Like, what are you doing? Like, genuinely, what are you doing? You are gonna get passed up by people like Jack, by people like who are in the program who need that holistic development from the mental game to the nutrition to the swing to the workouts. All that stuff really is what molds a really good baseball player. So, from me to the audience, if you're still doing one-on-one lessons once a week, genuinely, what are you doing? It is like a easy decision to want to level up that holistic approach rather than what Jack said, working on one thing at one point in time once a week. So completely agree with you, man. So where are you going to go from here? Like, what's the next goal for you, Jack, as far as maybe the EV or anything that aligns with the program?
First off, hit 90.
Hmm.
That's the first goal. And then I want to get an offer somewhere, even if it's not my dream school at first. I mean, I want to take that next step in my career, and this program helps a lot. Like I know you've been doing help with recruiting with Liam. He's a different guy in the program, absolute stud. I see his highlights all the time. But yeah, man, I mean, I want to take the next step for this upcoming spring season, my junior year, which is a big year for recruiting this summer. And I want to hit 90. I want to hit 160, 180 by the time this program is over because I'm 145 now. I've got 4 months left. I think, I mean, it's another outlandish goal, but I mean, I hit 84, which I didn't think that I would hit until the program was about over.
Absolutely.
Um, and I mean, it's been a hell of a ride so far, being surrounded by a group of athletes who genuinely care about the game, genuinely want to get better, and just being in that community that's just a winning community is awesome. And it helps me achieve my goals.
100%. Well, my response is let's freaking do it. There's no evidence, there's no reason that says we can't hit those goals. So let's do it, man. I'm excited per usual. We're gonna hit those goals. Let's go. Is there any closing words of advice that you have here, Jack? I'll give you the floor one more time for anybody else watching that may need to hear your words, man.
Join, dude. I mean, it took me so long being on the fence about so many different things and watching other people get better faster than me, even though I worked harder. That obviously was not a fun part of it, but like you said, probably two or three times by now, it's only weird until it works. So even if you're not sure about an online program, if you want to stick that kind of physical side, I mean, you get 90% of what a physical program or what an in-person program is. And then you get so much more added on to that. I mean, I would take this 100 times over any in-person program, you know? Like, yeah, you're not throwing me BP. You're not, you know, seeing my swing in person, but you're seeing it every time that I send in a swing, which is pretty much every day. You know, I mean, I'm getting contact all the time. I'm taking the steps on my end to get work in too. I mean, it's not just you. Um, it's not, it's not always the in-person coach's job to get you better. It's your job to get you better, and being surrounded by coaches and other players that genuinely want to get better. I mean, Coach Ross has helped me on my mental game, which was the biggest part. I mean, you can't talk to one coach one time a week, and tell them all the problems that you're having in game or successes, because I mean, it's not just fixing problems, it's building on success too, which was huge. So honestly, I would just say join. It's the probably the best step that you can take other than starting baseball.
Ha,
But
love that.
yeah,
You heard him right here live on the call. Join the freaking program. Join the program. Listen to Jack. It's how you gain 9 EV and take these steps that he just talked about today. So, Jack, man, I really appreciate your time, brother. Think we had a great conversation. Now let's end the week strong and get after it.
oh yeah.
Sweet man.